Channel welcomes you to Dover Downs for butt pull qualifying for the NASCAR Winston Cup Series and Sunday's MBNA Armed Forces Family 400. Moments ago, the NASCAR Busch Series qualified on the Monster Mile. Joe Nemechek is the new pole sitter, and Casey Kane will have his second career front row start alongside Matt Kenseth third. He's doing double duty or double dipping this weekend. In Winston Cup, Jimmie Johnson is on a roll.
$1 million, baby.
2 weeks ago, he won the Winston All-Star race. And last Sunday night, won the Coca-Cola 600 to put another $275,000 in the Hendrick war chest. And oh, by the way, the last two races here at Dover Downs, he won them. So how do things look this weekend for the man with the momentum? Here's Matt Yoakum.
Well, 2 wins here at Dover, a $1.3+ million payday at Charlotte. Are you getting closer to getting a Dover pole, though, Jimmy?
I think we're making ground on Dover pole. The race rhythm that you need here is a lot different than the qualifying rhythm. Like you and I were talking, I think I can figure out how to race this track and the setup for it. But it seems like Ryan's got that qualifying rhythm, and he's doing a great job and was on top of the sheets again here. Threw a number out there that's going to be tough to beat. So we're, I'm looking for a top 10 starting spot. We've qualified okay here before and have still won. I mean, we've been close to 20th and have won. So it does matter for a pit stall pick, so you don't get boxed in because pit road's so narrow. But besides that, I want this race car in the race. I don't want to do anything dumb.
He's looking for his third straight Dover win. He will roll off 9th. Mike?
Thanks, Matt. There's a look at Jimmie Johnson's Lowe's Monte Carlo. In the Winston Cup top 10, Matt Kenseth. Up on top. It's a look at standings, 1 through 10.
Boy, what a difference a week makes. Matt Kenseth's finishing second at Lowe's Motor Speedway. We're from 20 points ahead of Dale Earnhardt Jr. to now 160.
That's a big spread. Pick up 140 points in one weekend. Hi, everybody. Mike Choi with Larry McReynolds and Darrell Waltrip. The concrete canyons of Dover. Here we are again. And boy, is this going to be different.
They do the Monster Mash.
On the Monster Mile.
The Monster Mile, yes, and it could be very treacherous, too. This joint, I'm telling you, I watched those Busch cars qualify a little bit ago. Holy cow, those guys need to stand up here and see how fast they're going through these turns. Because I'll tell you, from the center of the corner off, incredible amounts of speed. And, of course, Joe Nemechek set a track record, and it wouldn't surprise me to see these guys again do that in the Busch Series or in the Cup Series today.
Larry,
cars are fast.
What do you do differently setting up for concrete than you would for an asphalt track?
Well, the biggest thing that I like about it, Mike, is even though the track temperature is going up just a little bit, especially from practice, and that is a concern, is the track just loses grip. It's not that the handling characteristics change that much because of that white concrete like the asphalt, but I'm going to tell you what, you talk about fast. When I look at the 45 cars, we have 45 Winston Cup cars here. I looked at the fastest 36 in practice. It was less than a half a second that separated those 36 cars, and that's on a 1-mile racetrack running well over 150 miles per hour.
Wow. So this place is fast and furious. Now, there's an overused line, but you'll hear more of it this weekend. Dick Bergman.
In September of 2000, Kurt Busch won the pole for the truck race here, but in the final practice session, in happy hour, tire failed, boom, into the wall. He went absolutely demolished the truck, had to go to a backup truck. That meant he started absolutely dead last in the field. You remember that day with that truck starting dead last? Took him 146 laps before he took the lead, and he wound up winning. So you don't care where you start, do you?
It's important to start up front. It gives you a better pit box, but today it's a different day, obviously. It's a little bit different of a challenge to run a Cup car around this place and just a little bit different characteristics. We've got a good car. My teammate's fast, Matt Kenseth, so we looked at his setup. We'll give it a good shot. I think we got a top 10 starting spot and a happy hour. Work on the car tomorrow and dodge some rain, and we'll see what happens.
He was 8th quick for much of the practice session today, Mike Choi.
Thanks, Dick. Kurt Busch, but for running over a piece of debris last Sunday, might have been in victory lane at Charlotte.
We've interviewed 2 drivers, and both of them has talked about pit selection. And the reason, it's important everywhere, but this pit road here, it's very, very narrow. So if you're going to sit on the pole, this is the #1 pit box. That's what you're going to pick, because we see more cars get tore up on pit road during pit stops almost than we do on the racetrack. Very narrow and very tight.
Ready for the first car to roll, and it's Mike Wallace, who is doing triple duty of sorts this weekend. He's got to go back to Charlotte for one of his kids' high school graduations this weekend. For his daughter, I believe, and he's also going to run in 2 series here.
And I'm going to tell you what, he was very, very quick in practice. He was 6th quickest. They were quick out of the truck, and the entire 2 hours of practice, they stayed quick.
Jerry Nadeau doing rehab now back home in Charlotte, North Carolina. And the doctors there are optimistic that he'll be able to return to his home and do rehab on an outpatient basis in the very near future. All very encouraging news for Jerry.
And Darrell, especially qualifying with fresh tires, I mean, you pick up the throttle so early in the corner, well before the center of the corner.
Yeah, I mean, if you can hear the with the camera and the sound that we're picking up, when you drive that thing in there, you drive it all the way down to the middle of the corner, and you just do what we call burp it. Some guys don't even let all the way off. They'll feather out of the throttle. But you've got to in order to go fast, you've got 800 horsepower when you got it wide open. They try to use every bit of it.
Mike picks up on his second lap to a 23.16. That's about 2.5 tenths slower than he did ran in practice. And again, we're probably going to see that a lot because this racetrack has lost some grip with the temperatures coming up.
For whatever reason, when you get ready to qualify here, you always seem to be a little loose. I think you drive harder. I'm not sure if the track temperature may be like Larry was talking about, but cars always seem to be a little looser than when they practice.
Matt Kenseth on track has 1 Winston Cup pole, and it came right here. Here's Matt.
And crew member Jay Lupo helping Jeff buckle himself into the race car. 2 poles here at Dover. How about your chances for a third, Jeff?
We were pretty good in practice. I don't know if we were as good as some of those guys that were running some real fast laps for the pole, but you know, this track changes and it gets pretty weird for qualifying. Some guys that went fast slow down, and some guys that didn't pick up. So, you know, I'd be happy anywhere top 5, top 10.
A lot of success here. 4 wins as a driver, 2 wins as a co-owner, and 2 poles.
Wow, Matt Kenseth, 22.9.
You know, he sat on the pole here last year, but you know something interesting that I just found or just read this morning? He's never led a lap here.
I did read that. Yeah, that was hard to believe with him sitting on the pole.
You say, well, he sat on the pole, he bound to lead the first lap, but he didn't, and he hadn't.
His first Winston Cup start came right here as substitute for Bill Elliott. And the second lap falls off by about 2 tenths. But Matt Kenseth, quicker than Mike Wallace by about 1/4 of a second. He is the pole sitter so far. But pole qualifying on speed is brought to you by Fram Tough Guard oil filters. Do you drive tough? By Stacker 2, the world's strongest fat burner. And by Johnsonville Brats, the best taste on the grill.
And I mentioned earlier, Mike, that we have 45 cars here, and we did have 45 cars when it opened this morning, but Hermie Sadler in the 02 car withdrew, so we have 44 cars. That means 1 car will be going home.
I tell you, Biffle's hustling this car around there. He really just, I mean, manhandled that thing down into the first turn.
Second quickest on his first lap, 23.10.
It's kind of a Biffle kind of track. He likes to rub that fence coming off both corners.
Won the Busch race here a year ago. Slows down on his second lap, and we're probably going to see that. Everybody's going to get the best lap on that first lap.
Biffle is highest in the Winston Cup points among the rookies, 22nd. So he is the middle of 3 drivers to qualify so far: Matt Kenseth, Greg Biffle, Mike Wallace. Dick?
You guys were talking about pit selection. I'm going to show you why it's so very important, particularly to select one pit, and that'll be the pit that the pole winner picks. I'm in the second pit, and I'm going to pretend I'm the car. You see, when the pit stop finishes, I come out here into this other lane, and I just sort of roll along. There's other cars out here. Brad, I'm sorry, I ran right into you. But that's what happens. You run into other people out there. Now, here's the best pit a guy can be in. And if you got the first pick, this is the pit you're going to want to be in. Finish the pit stop, and look what you do. You drive right, straight, out of your pit and off onto the racetrack. It's good for a second at least on every pit stop.
Down here in Dover and in the Northeast, they would call it the easy pass lane. No stopping at the toll booth, no change to make Easy pass.
Perfect. Don't have to move far to win that race off pit road either. Boy, Jeff Burton really got loose off turn 2 on the backstretch. 38th quickest in practice, and not much better now as he's 4th quickest out of 4 cars.
Just so surprising. I mean, this is the kind of track that car and that driver have done so well on in the past. And see him run struggle, just hard to imagine.
Jeff Burton, the last of 4 to qualify. He's 14th in points coming in here with 3 top 10 finishes. Matt?
Rusty Wallace has 5 poles here at Dover, the last coming last fall. Billy Wilburn, realistically, what are you shooting for time-wise?
Well, I'd like to see us run down in the 70s. That's probably what it's going to take to get the pole, but our lap time in practice was like a 92, and we made a couple changes. So if we get down to 70s, I think that's where the pole's going to end up.
He was 7th quick, Mike.
Of course, Matt, what he's talking about is the 2270s, and Rusty's actually the track record holder here at a 2250. Probably with the temperature here today, that's probably pretty safe.
Yeah, the Busch cars, they got, the tires are different here, Larry, than they've been in the past. They changed to this tire last fall here, and I think the guys are still getting used to it maybe on the Cup cars.
Kurt Busch looking for his first front 4 start at Dover. He's made 5 Winston Cup starts here, and that first lap is 2nd quickest.
Made his very first Winston Cup start here in June of 2000 when they moved him almost straight from the Truck Series to the Winston Cup car, and he decides 1 lap's enough. Now, it's probably as fast as I'm going to be able to run, and you know what? It's probably pretty smart thinking that.
Safe anyway.
3 Fords at the top of the chart. Only 5 cars have run so far. Matt Kenseth is quickest. Welcome back to Dover Downs. Sterling Marlin, best start here, 5th in 1995, driving for Morgan McClure. And now the Coors Light Dodge trying to better that mark.
We had a lot of things this week. Sterling making some quotes about his qualifying. He's only qualified in the top 10 3 times this year, and he was really frustrated. He said, we either slow down or we don't pick up. And their average start, in fact, is 30th. I talked to his crew this morning, and we used to do this with Earnhardt a little bit. What they did, they unloaded in race trim. He's going to be 2nd quickest, so maybe their method is working. So they ran about the first 2/3 of qualifying practice in race trim, let Sterling get a rhythm. Then they swapped over to qualifying trim, and it looks like so far maybe working.
Sometimes you unload the car with some kind of trick over qualifying setup in it, and the driver loses his confidence in the car. It scares him so bad he goes out and it's loose and he can't drive it, and you never recover.
He almost ran the same speed on his 2nd lap, but right now Sterling's going to be 2nd quickest.
And I think, excuse me, Mike, I think starting off with a race setup, you get the feel of the car, you get the feel of the track, and then you try to go fast.
Marlin will make his 35th start here at Dover on Sunday. Rusty Wallace will make his 39th career start here. He is a 5. Keep counting here. It's a lot. Yeah, 5-time pole sitter at the Monster Mile. First one came in '93. Most recent one last fall.
As we said here, he is the track record holder at a 2250. Right now, Matt Kenseth is on the pole at a 2292. See the Fox tracker right there. Moved way on down there, coming off turn 2 down the backstretch. Lost a little bit, eased it into turn 3.
Eased it in there. Let's see if he picks it back up hard off the corner here now.
And he did, Darrell.
Back in the throttle.
Which is how you run fast, and he's on the pole right now, 2288.
See, I mean, that tracker is telling you exactly what you need to know. He eases it in the corner, the tracker backs off, but he gets back in the throttle so early that he picks up a lot of speed from on a corner exit.
3 drivers share the record for most consecutive wins here at 3. Rusty, Jeff Gordon, and David Pearson.
In 38 races here, Mike, his average finish is 12.9.
That's good.
38 races.
Matt?
And Dale Earnhardt Jr., 1/10 off setting quick time during practice. How about your shot at the pole, Junior?
Well, I don't know if we got a shot at the pole, but we definitely got a good enough car to qualify well. The track, it's kind of weird because every time we go out and qualify over the past 2 years here, we've been really loose when we've been in the top 3 in practice. So we're trying to figure that out, and hopefully today we've got it figured out. But
Had some tough luck last week, and we're only 106 points back, but we're still in second. That's a lot more credit than people give us earlier this year, so we're pretty happy.
Now you're a flashy guy. You like flames, and on your race car you've got some flames. I know Darrell likes flames too. Let's take a look down here, Stoli on the side of the car.
Yeah, anything to go faster. I think Darrell would admit, as well as I would, that flames would probably pick you up about a 10.
Oh, at least a 10.
Oh, yeah.
At least.
Well, let's see what they do for Jeff Gordon.
Flames are good on the side of the car. They're not good coming out of the center of the rear tires like they were on his car at Lowe's last week.
No,
those brakes were on fire.
If you could put them all over your car like Gordon says, you'll really go fast.
Well, Gordon goes 5th on his first lap.
But I like Junior's thinking.
Yes.
I mean, you know, he's thinking.
Jeff was 11th quickest. Hard to believe this is the 9th anniversary. 9 years ago today, May 29th, Jeff Gordon won his very first Winston Cup race, the Coca-Cola 600 at Lowe's Motor Speedway.
Second lap is slower, so Gordon is 5th of 8 right now. He and his protege, Jimmy Johnson, combined for 6 wins here at Dover.
Not too bad a team effort.
No, not at all. In fact, Jeff Gordon had 7 straight races here where he started in the top 3. Sunday will not be one of those. Speaking of teacher and pupil, here comes Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, I'd like to give you a whole bunch of statistics on this cat right here. But the best thing I can tell you is he won both races here last year.
And we won't have time the way he's going.
But you know some things that's also a good statistic on this whole group right here is Lowe's, the sponsor, Jimmy Johnson and Chad Knaus, the crew chief. They just all signed 5-year contract extensions with Hendrick Motorsports through the year 2007. And that's always a good feeling when you know you're going to be together that long, especially when you're doing good.
3rd quickest on his first lap and the fastest of the Chevrolets so far.
We saw him jump a little sideways there off of 2. Off of both corners here can be awfully breathtaking because you're carrying so much speed. And you can see he's really fighting with that car on the second lap.
Second lap about 3/10 slower. That has pretty much been the norm. So Jimmy Johnson is 3rd behind Rusty Wallace and Matt Kenseth. Dale Earnhardt Jr. among the quick guys waiting to go. Our Be a Grand Marshal for a Day contest continues this Sunday. Look for the secret number on the animated car. Log into NASCAR.com or FoxSports.com on Lycos. Enter the number for your chance to win. The winner will start the race, ride in the pace car, take care of the production team's hotel check-in, and wave the checkered flag at the Winston Cup race next year at Rockingham. The Grand Marshal per Day contest continues Sunday on FX. The winner's going to be busy.
He is.
A lot of things.
Just keep
for
adding
he or
things
she to
to
do.
it.
Jimmy Spencer. It is one of his home racetracks. He's got 3 of them up here.
Just think about this. You know how many laps this cat's led here in 26 races? 2.
2 laps.
2 laps. And guess what? No top 5.
And he's not going to be very happy with this qualifying effort with this brand new race car. 10th quickest out of 10 cars right now.
Dick Berggren.
With the guy who has more poles here at Dover than anybody else who will participate on Sunday afternoon, Rusty Wallace, 5 of those poles. Fastest man on campus so far. But let's get right down to it. How's the golf game?
The golf game's going real good. I had a great game yesterday. We played in the MBNA celebrity tournament for autism. It was really a lot of fun. We had a lot of people there. Troy Aikman was there. We had Darrell Walter. We had all the celebrities. It was a fun day.
Raised a couple of bucks for autism.
Yeah, we raised about $150,000 yesterday, which was a neat deal.
Great. Glad you participated. Artie Kepner, our director, was the guy behind all that.
And I tell you, our own Jeff Hammond participated in that golf tournament. He's quite the golfer. Shot a 76, but I've got to find him tonight, find out what he shot on the second 9.
John Andretti comes out in the Cheerios Dodge. They're the all-time pole winners at Dover. David Pearson tops that list, the Silver Fox. Alan Kulwicki right there with Ricky Rudd and Rusty behind, and Mark Martin behind Rusty.
I'm going to tell you what, if this pole holds up for Rusty Wallace, being tied with David Pearson for poles at any racetrack, pretty awesome.
Let me tell you about the 43 car. Richard Petty, when he drove his car, he won here in 5 different makes of cars. Every make that's raced, including Dodge, Plymouth, I mean, everything. Anything that would
Pontiac,
Chevrolet. He won here in 5 different makes of cars.
In fact, he was the last time that Dodge won here in 1975. Right now, John Andretti, though, a lot like Jimmy Spencer in this Dodge, not going to be very happy. 11th quickest out of 11 cars.
Now, most people don't even remember that Richard Petty raced a Ford for a season, but I think he won here in a Ford.
Yeah, he won in every make.
Wow.
Gave every make a win here.
Matt?
Well, Joe Nemechek trying to sweep the pole this weekend here at Dover. You have some work to do in the Cup car, though.
Definitely have some work. You know, these guys, we've been working really hard. The UAW Delphi Chevy guys. We just haven't quite been there. You know, we've made a lot of improvements today. Car's been a little bit loose, a little bit pushy, and just can't find the grip that we need. And there right at the end, we changed quite a few things and got better, but we'd already used our stickers up, so we'll have to see what we can do. But I think we're going to be pretty good.
A new track record on the Busch side. He was 24th fastest in Winston Cup practice. Dick?
Jimmy Johnson, the hottest driver in NASCAR. What a job you guys did last week. Crew was perfect. Crew chief was perfect. Driver was perfect. How much momentum are you bringing to Dover?
It brings a lot of momentum, and it's amazing what can happen when everything's hitting right. And it's hard to see it happen for a long period of time in our sport. And hopefully we'll hang on to it for a couple, for a month or so. Kurt Busch had the last stint that I can probably say that's happened from my vantage point. And it's just hard to have it stick around for a long time. Competition's so tough. And a little bit can mean 10 spots. So I'm very thankful for the team I got at Hendrick Motorsports and All Sport from Lowe's. And who knows, maybe we'll even start better than we ever have here in Dover and look for another win.
Hey, have you got any secrets for this racetrack? I mean, you won both of them last year. You're undefeated. You got any secrets?
Yeah, to be sideways to go fast. So the other question I got for you, is it still May? Because I've had a great May, and I'm afraid when it turns into June.
I have too. I don't want to see June either, Jim.
Sounds good.
All right, Mike.
Well, Sunday is June 1st. Don't tell him, Dick.
It can't be May. It's not raining.
That's right. Wait till tomorrow. His teammate, Terry Labonte, timed in 6th fastest in the Kellogg Chevy, 22.99. And here is Dale Jarrett. Labonte, a 2-time pole sitter at Dover. Dale Jarrett has 1 pole position to his credit. He came into the September race in 2001.
Just maybe this group's season's fixing to come the other direction. Of course, won at Rockingham, the 2nd race of the season. Finally, last week, got their first top 10 finish at Lowe's Motor Speedway finish night since that win. And this team, they like the spring races here because in the last 5 spring races, they have finished in the top 5. He'll be 11th quickest on his first lap at a 23.29, and he struggled in practice, Darrell. He was only 35th quickest.
Yeah, he got a good run at, got a good finish, let's say, last week at the 600.
Rusty Wallace, Matt Kenseth, Jimmy Johnson, 3 makes in the first 3 spots. 13 cars have attempted qualifying. Winston Cup qualifying on speed is brought to you by Budweiser. The best things in life are the things that are true. Budweiser. Robbie Gordon will make his 4th Winston Cup start at Dover on Sunday.
Such a hard driver, Mike. I mean, you think about Richmond, he made up all those laps to get back in contention. At Charlotte last week, he was driving the wheels off that thing. Just not getting real good results right now.
You know, guys, we've been talking about how hard you drive up off the corner and how early you're in the throttle, and you drive up the hill against a straightaway. And with this concrete, see right there at the base of the rear wall, the wall on the backstretch, you see a black stripe. You're carrying so much speed, drivers were having a hard time determining where the concrete surface of the racetrack stopped and where the wall started. So what Dover Downs did is they put that black stripe there.
They did that on both sides of the race.
Front and back stretch.
Makes a difference.
Yeah, you drive down a hill getting in the corner here, and then up a hill getting off the corner onto the straightaway.
There'll be some more black marks on the bottom of that wall for the weekend.
They'll be a little higher up.
Yeah, right.
Robbie Gordon will be disappointed with that run, 23.44. That is 13th fastest. He practiced 30th quickest. Well, here's Junior, who's been hanging on to 2nd place in the points, kind of by his fingernails, after last Sunday night's.
Pretty sure he's glad to get away from Charlotte, though, because he is DNF'd in both last 2 years in the 600.
He's never been on the front row here, but he started 3rd here twice, including September 2001 when he went on to win after leading 193 laps.
And you talk about those DNFs at Lowe's Motor Speedway. He ended a 35 race streak without a DNF that went back 1 year ago to Lowe's Motor Speedway. He's going to be 8th quickest on his first lap at a 23:09. He was 3rd quickest, though, in practice.
Sunday, Jeff Hammond will take us through the braking system of one of these Winston Cup cars and show us what the Bud team thinks failed on Junior's car at Charlotte.
Don't think he'll be quicker on his second lap. He was pretty loose off turn 2 and couldn't keep it down in the middle of 3 and 4. He slows down about a half a tenth, so right now he'll be 8th quickest.
One of the things that you struggle with here in getting ready to qualify is do you want to go on stickers, brand new tires with stickers on them, or do you want to go on scuffs, tires that have maybe a lap or maybe a slow lap on them anyway? And sometimes the car likes the stickers, sometimes it likes the scuffs. And probably you go down and ask the guy who went on stickers, he said, darn, I should have gone on scuffs. Guy who went on scuffs say, darn, I should have gone on stickers.
That's the way it normally works.
Only the pole sitter is sure he made the right choice. Michael Waltrip, whose 4th place start in this race last year, his best here since joining DEI. He did win the pole here for Bahari Racing in this race in 1991.
And that was his first career pole.
And he and Jimmy Johnson are the only 2 drivers to be in the top 10 in the points all year long so far. Michael's been very consistent. I've been really impressed with how they consistently finish up there in the top 10 or 12.
It's going to be 10th quickest on his first lap, considering he was only 36th quickest in practice.
Wow.
He'll probably be fairly happy with that.
Scoundrel can qualify now. He gets up on the wheel when it comes time to go fast.
Where that car just jumped up to the wall coming out of turn 2. Wow.
It's not a pleasant feeling.
Second lap, only a 10.5 slower.
Yeah, his second lap was almost a mirror of his teammate Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the Budweiser car. Jumped sideways off turn 2, couldn't keep it down in turn 3 and 4.
Derek Copa's our next qualifier in the friendly Chevy. One of his 2 Winston Cup wins came here in 1990 for Bob Whitcomb. He backed up winning the Daytona 500 this year, or that year, with a win here in the May race at Dover.
Yeah, he's pulling double duty this weekend. He's run the Busch race and hopefully run the Cup race today. We'll see here shortly.
His car was pretty loose coming off turn 4 to take the green horse. Derek has missed the last 2 shows at Richmond and at Lowe's Motor Speedway last week.
And that is not a vote of confidence when she hops sideways coming to get the green.
You hadn't even started your lap.
You know you're not even up to speed yet. He's still loose, Larry. If they went in the center of the turn, kind of twitched on him a little bit, that just really knocks a lot of momentum out of the car.
He was 42nd quickest in practice.
And he's the slowest of the 17 so far.
He's just having a terrible time with that car. He did it again down there in the middle of that corner. I think he's just going to quit.
And Mike, with 44 cars here, you have to at least beat 8 cars guaranteed to be in that top 36.
So Rusty Wallace is the fastest of 17. Matt Kenseth and Jimmy Johnson behind him as Ward Burton gets set to buckle in and go to work. Joe Nemechek is the next driver to qualify. In his first appearance here in 1994 for Larry Hedrick, he started 3rd. And that's his best qualifying effort ever at the Monster Mile.
He was way up off the bottom of the racetrack through 1 and 2. You heard him talking about struggling with this car, unlike his Busch car, who's on the pole for the Mars Busch Series race. Way up the racetrack again in turn 3 and 4. There you see the Fox tracker right now. It looks to be about 11th or 12th quickest. Actually 15th quickest. He lost a lot of time off turn 4 onto the front stretch.
When it goes up the hill like that, or when it starts up the banking, you just can't get back to the throttle quick enough to get a good lap.
Yeah, in Sunday's race, we'll see him racing all over the racetrack, at the top, in the middle, at the bottom, different ends. But qualifying, trust me, right around the bottom of this racetrack.
Yeah, that's not a bad feel to have in a race setup, where it kind of pushes up in the middle because the driver's turning hard left right there, but not to qualify. She got to be free when you qualify, like a bird.
Nemechek 15th. 18 cars have been on the track so far. Jeff
driving
Green
that? Oh,
for Dale Earnhardt Incorporated.
Just going to ask you who was driving that car.
It was a test.
It's just a little test. Oh, you got it written down.
Not me.
Oh, you man.
Oh, look, the sheet they handed me said Steve Park.
Yeah, there you go. See ya.
So you're saying Bill Sloboda even was trying to mess you up?
Can you believe it? Jeff Green out of Owensboro, Kentucky, the former Busch Series champ. now driving the DEI #1 Pennzoil Chevy.
28th quickest in practice. Jeff set on the pole for the Busch race here a year ago. It's going to be 15th quickest on his first lap at a 23:33.
Just not able to get back to the throttle there. He's just driving it in there, and it's kind of hit it up the track. He's got to get it down before he can get back to the gas.
So our Daytona 500 pole sitter ended up 15th quickest. He slowed down about 2/10 on his second lap.
You know, it's getting kind of crowded at the back of the field. You know, with some pretty decent cars, have not turned in really impressive runs.
A lot like last week at Lowe's Motor Speedway.
Jamie McMurray. So far this season, his best start has been 7th, and this his rookie year. That came at Rockingham.
He somewhat was struggling in practice. He was 33rd quickest, and I know they had a lot of confidence in this race car because the 2 top 5 finishes he has this year at Rockingham and Fontana, California. This is the race car they did this with. It's the most proven car that they have in the stable, they feel like.
He's getting older, though. He's going to be 27 on Tuesday.
Oh, gosh. That's going to take him out of the young gun category. Well, no, I guess we're allowing up to 31. But that's an ever-changing target.
Yeah, well, under 30, I think, is okay right now.
All I know is we're not getting any younger.
12th quickest on his first lap at a 23:24. I'm going to tell you, what a rookie battle we really have. I don't think we've really played that up like it probably should between Jamie McMurray and Greg Biffle. He only leads Greg Biffle in the 16 car right now by 4 points in that Robustus Rookie of the Year battle.
And Jack Sprague and Tony Raines are trying to get back in it. Tony Raines has been closing the gap a little bit.
Let's check with Matt.
Well, Tony Stewart was 20th fastest in practice, doing a lot of race runs. Tony, your expectations for qualifying?
Just get through it right now. Been pretty sick with a cold the last couple of days and pretty tired and fatigued right now. So yeah, we got some antibiotics started and just trying to get through today where I can go sleep a little bit tonight. Try to get a good night's full good night's sleep hopefully tonight.
Mike?
Boy, one word you don't want to hear here is fatigue.
No, because this cat has an incredible record here. In 8 races, he's averaged a 4.5, 4.5 finish. So he's got the talking Tony Stewart, yes. Not Mark Martin. Yeah, Mark's got a pretty incredible record here too.
Wouldn't you say, Darrell, maybe other than maybe Martinsville and Bristol, this is probably the most demanding racetrack on a driver?
Listen, when they knocked 100 miles off of this race, I mean, it was like getting an early Christmas present. Because this joint, I mean, we used to run 500 miles here. Mike, it'd take you 4.5 hours. And now even at 400 miles, still takes you about 4 hours.
Mark Martin is 1 lap and done. It wasn't great, and I guess he didn't feel it would get better. 23.323, 154 miles an hour. But don't give up hope. Last fall, he started 32nd and finished 2nd here. Tony Raines will be our next qualifier in Bill Bumgarner's Chevy. He made his Winston Cup debut here in this race a year ago. Started 17th, finished 31st.
Yeah, unfortunately, though, out of the 44 cars here, he was only 43rd quickest in practice. This is one of the weekends that they elected not to bring the Busch car that Tony's been running for this same team. And it seems like every week they do bring the Busch car, he runs a little better than the Winston Cup car.
I'm curious as to what I should know.
Well, they have America's second harvest on the car.
$9 million.
If he makes the show, I promise you by Sunday we'll find out.
Yeah. Well, I hated to even mention it because I don't know, but by the same token, I thought you would.
Thank you. Well, America's Second Harvest is like a food bank. It's an organization that promotes nutrition and availability of food.
See, it's another,
end hunger.
It's another one of those times when I was trying to lead you somewhere and I didn't know where I was going.
I thought you were going like to the Golden Arches where it says 9 million served.
Oh, is that?
But
yeah, Tony's going to be down in provisional land, though, I believe, as he's going to be 21st quickest. But I bet Matt Yoakum, he can tell us what's on the side of this
Somebody in our crowd knows.
They are taking part in a major food drive, like you mentioned, called America's Second Harvest. For every lap he completes, 100 slices of pizza are going to be donated, and they're hoping that's going to be a lot of pizza by day's end.
National Hunger Awareness Day, and that is not a sponsor. That is a charitable act by Bill Bumgarner and team. Our hats off to them. Here's a team that was in the news this week. Ward Burton and Bill Davis Racing. That's the Caterpillar Dodge, but it was announced this week that Dodge has withdrawn all factory support from this team.
And that could be a big hit. That could be a big hit for a race team, because not only is it worth something monetarily, it's hard to put a dollar value on everything else you get, wind tunnel time, and on your engine development. I mean, it could be a big, big hit. Ward Burton, they finally got their second top 10 finish of the year last week at Lowe's Motor Speedway. They elected to come up here and test a few weeks ago here at Dover.
So do you think they're aligning with another manufacturer?
Well, this is the team that gave Dodge its Daytona 500 win, first one they'd had in 20-some years. And all the Dodge people would say was that the team did something very serious that was very clearly out of the contract. Rumors, we only hear rumors. One involved testing a Chevrolet, and the other had to do with something of Toyota's coming to the Truck Series.
Truck Series, yeah.
Ward's not going to be very happy with his qualifying effort either, even after, especially after testing here, 21st quickest out of 23 cars.
Tony Stewart, the Winston Cup champion, is the next driver to run. He's never had a pole here, but he started third here in '99, finished second, and then won both the races here in 2000.
2 wins, 7 top 10s. The only time he's finished out of the top 10 here, he finished 11th one race. So this guy he knows Dover.
But this race team sure needs to get on track, because the last 7 races, 4 DNFs, motor trouble at Lowe's last week. In fact, the last 7 races, 2nd to 20th in points. First lap's going to be 8th quickest for Tony at a 23:07.
But you know what? Feeling bad. I mean, when you're outside the car, yeah, I feel bad. I don't know if I can make it or not. But you go over to that infield care center, get some fluids put in you, hop in that thing on Sunday and get in there and it's nice and warm and cuddly and cozy, and you'll be surprised how he'll run Sunday.
Stewart is 8th. His second lap, almost a mirror of his first, 7 100ths off it. And another pair of teammates that have done well here at Dover. In the last 10 races, they've combined for 3 wins and 12 top 10s. Matt?
A 22.738 lap in practice. All eyes on Ryan Newman. Ryan, what do you expect? Can you better that?
I don't know. We'll just have to see what we can do. They all tell Dodge it's fast in practice, and it's a fast racetrack. You got to hit your marks just right. Rusty did a good job of doing that, and we'll just have to see what we can do.
Always fast. Ryan Newman looking for his 11th career pole. Maybe it'll come today. Really fast in practice.
Johnny Benson, the Valvoline Pontiac, our next qualifier. Brett Bodine, the Hooters Ford, is on the 5-minute clock, and that car is just now being rolled from the garage area and into position. Benson started 3rd here in the fall race of 2000. Missed this race last year, injured in a Busch Series crash at Richmond. Was back here for the fall race, where he finished 10th.
16th quickest on his first lap. He was 23rd quickest in practice. And again, what that 5-minute clock means that Brett Bodine's on, if you're not excused, as Johnny goes way up the racetrack in 3 and 4. But NASCAR, unless you're excused and you're not up there for your qualifying time when you're supposed to go out, they give you 5 minutes to present the car at the front of the line to go qualify, or then you are DNQ, did not qualify.
I think what happened there, they probably called Johnny and said, you know, that wasn't a very good first lap. It's an okay first lap. Can you pick it up? And he tried and he couldn't.
Here's Brett Bodine in position to qualify. One more car, and then he'll probably be out there. And we'll be back. Welcome back to Dover. Mike Joy, Darrell Waltrip, Larry McReynolds. 25 drivers have been on the clock. Now it's Kevin Harvick's turn. This will be only his 5th Winston Cup start here. His first was his best. Started 8th, finished 8th in the fall of 2001. He finished 6th.
We're being told right now, Elliott Sadler in the number 38 M&M's car, that he's on the 5-minute clock. This is actually supposed to be his qualifying slot right here. See Kevin Harvick. Harvick's going to be 14th quickest on his first lap. First time Kevin came here for his Busch race, the first Busch race in June of 2000, he sat on the pole for that race.
He's having a much better year this year than he had last year. More like he had the first year that he drove this car in 2001.
And we'll show you proof of that as he completes his run here. A little slower, a tenth slower on the second lap. So Harvick 14th right now. He is 8th in the Winston Cup points. A year ago, as you said, Darrell, he was mired in 33rd with 3 DNFs, but that car's been running better and finishing better.
I was going to say, we always talk about that. Yeah, where you finish, points, all that's important, but that DNF column is the one that can really hurt you, really make you or break you.
Well, boys, I feel a turbulence stirring up.
Are we fixing to find out what the racetrack has in it, you think, DW?
You know, Larry, this isn't Bristol, but it's a lot like Bristol.
Well, Rocket Man Ryan Newman on the racetrack and his teammate Rusty Wallace on the pole. See what the Alltel Dodge can do here.
He went around Bristol and as fast or faster than anything I ever thought I'd see, and I just wonder if he can do that here at Dover.
The last 10 races, he's qualified in the top 10. He's fastest right now.
There you see it. If he can get through 3 and 4, right around the bottom, race car looks good.
Oh, it looks really good. And he got off of that corner excellent.
There it is. I mean, he beat Rusty Wallace, his teammate, by 0.2 of a second.
And he did it
22.68.
He did it from the center of the corner off. I mean, he really got off of 4 with a lot of speed.
If he can ever put together the long runs like he does his qualifying, watch out, everybody.
I'm going to tell you what, this second lap's going to be pretty fast. I don't think it'll be his first lap.
He lost time this time off of turn 4. He got pushing. But he had a great race last week, Mike, and that's what he needed last week. Give him some momentum. Gets a pole here this weekend. Look out, boys.
Ryan Newman and Rusty Wallace puts Dodge on both sides of the front row. Another contest. Log on to foxsports.com and enter the Fram Butte Drive Tough sweepstakes to win a trip trip for two to be an honorary pit crew member of Jamie McMurray's Team Yellow Racing. Log on to foxsports.com to win. Jack Sprague.
He was hung out there coming off of 2 then. Listen, I'm pulling for Jack Sprague. I know he's been struggling. I know he's had a tough time. Things have not gone anywhere near like he was hoping they would in Cup. But, and they're not going good on this run, by the way.
No, they wasn't. He was just about sideways in turn 3 and 4, and he picked the throttle up. 25th quickest out of 28 cars.
He was slideways.
Slideways.
Last week, he had the save of the year.
It didn't save it right then off turn 2 because he just hit the wall coming up on that straightaway. There's one of those black marks, DW.
Yes, sir.
This was one of several teams tested this week at Pocono, and unlike the big teams with the 10-11 cars lined up in the shop, they have 3 cars ready to go and more in process. So they're trying to get caught up and get Sprague up and running well. Let's see here.
Kissed it.
You're driving up out of that hole. You're carrying so much speed, and the way to get around here is right up against the wall. Car gets just a little bit loose, just runs out of racetrack.
Starts back down in the hole, and as it comes up into that transition area right there, then it just wants to jump loose with you. You get behind on your steering, ain't nothing you can do about it.
So Sprague 25th of 28 for the former Craftsman Truck Series champion. And don't forget, the Craftsman Truck Series is coming up right here on Speed right after qualifying. Here's Brett Bodine in the Hooters Ford. One here, or start on the pole here rather, for Kenny Bernstein. 1992 for this race.
I'd already moved the 28 car. I can't take credit for that one.
Maybe they used your setup.
You think? Okay. Yeah, Brett was 40th quickest in practice. Pretty good run for Brett on that first lap. 22nd quickest. Remember, he has to beat 8 cars before he's guaranteed in the show. So all he has to beat right now is 1 more car, and Brett will definitely be racing on Sunday. Running a limited schedule. Will not be at Pocono next week, but then he'll run the next few races, Michigan and Daytona.
22nd right now for Brett Bodine. And now NASCAR wants to have a look at the track after what happened here to Jack Sprague.
Yeah, Darrell, he was way up out of the groove, way back in the center of turn 2.
Yeah, his trouble started back there, and of course you're on a qualifying run, and you got to stay after it. You got to hope. You got to hope and pray that it'll make it.
Well, Dick Berggren gets to talk to the fastest man in town, who, to no surprise right now, is Ryan Newman.
Yeah, he's kind of used to this stuff starting out on the pole. Rusty came by to say hello to you. Your teammate is on the outside of the front row so far. What was the conversation?
I just hope we can keep it that way. You know, it's good to have Penske cars 1-2, as Roger knows after last weekend, and we'll see what we can do on Sunday, but the Auto Dodge was awesome today.
Now, Roger Penske won the Indianapolis 500 last weekend. Did he send any word to you guys before the start of the race as to what you should do in the Coca-Cola 600?
No, I just knew what I should do, and that was the best job I could, and he knows that, and we did that, and just came up a little short, but really look forward to this weekend's race.
You guys did a good job last week. They were 5th last week in the Coca-Cola 600, Mike.
Over the last 2 seasons, nobody has had pole potential like Ryan Newman. 9 poles to Bill Elliott's, Jeff Gordon's, and Jimmy Johnson's 4, and Rusty Wallace smacks his approval upside the head of Ryan Newman, his teammate. Nine of 44 drivers have already made qualifying attempts. Here is Bobby Labonte in the Interstate Chevrolet. Ryan Newman, Rusty Wallace are quickest so far. Matt Yoakum.
And Michael Fatback McSwain, watching your car go by and take the green. What about your chances for the pole? You were 4th quick, Michael.
Yeah, I don't know. We've had a pretty good car all day. As long as the track hadn't got us, we'll do good. We'll find out here in about 8 seconds.
Now, you were a little worried there when the 12... When you hit the stopwatch.
No good.
You heard it, no good.
He's 11th quickest on his first lap at a 23:09.
Yeah, he went way up the hill down here in 3 and 4. The car just did not stick. And I don't think this is going to be any better. He had to back out of it to keep it from doing that this lap.
It's going to be a lot slower, I think, there.
Yeah, they're going to be disappointed with that.
It is slower, but Labonte comes in here 6th in the NASCAR top 10. Great improvement over 1 year ago, where he only had 3 top 10s to this point in the season and came in here 22nd.
Yeah, I mean, 4 straight top 3 finishes just in the last 4 races, including 3 second-place finishes in a row.
Now, Jack Sprague hit the fence, and then Brett Bodine was sent out to qualify. It likely was not until after NASCAR officials had viewed our replays that it appeared perhaps there might be something up there in turn number 2, so they took a look at the track after Brett had made his run, but Bodine was able to qualify without incident. So after a quick look at the track, we continue. Elliott Sadler pretty close to pole, setting pace right there.
Talked to him yesterday, Larry and Mike, and he said he's really stiff, his neck is, from that incident in Charlotte. Just had no idea that the oil was there, and he hit it and he knocked the fence down.
Going to be a good lap for him, although he lost a lot of better time off turn 4 on the front straightaway, 14th quickest. Elliott was 18th quickest in practice. This is the same car that he set on the pole with a few months ago at Darlington.
And that car he wrecked at Charlotte is the one he had at Texas, and he said that's the best car he's ever driven, and he's torn it up twice.
Second lap, just 3/100ths off, showing that car, since most drivers have been falling off 0.3 of a second lap 1 to lap 2, showing the car had more potential in it than the result. And Sadler is 14th. Casey Mears in the Target Dodge in his rookie season, his best start 10th at Talladega.
And we'll just see running the Busch car maybe if it helps him here in this qualifying session, because he qualified on the outside of the front row in the Busch car, driving the 19 Busch car. He was 27th quickest in practice, so maybe he learned a little something he can do to help this car qualify.
I really like the plan that they got this kid on, though, because I believe that's all he needs. I believe he's got the intelligence. I believe he's got the ability. And obviously, he's got the nerve.
He just about ran out of racetrack.
Right. He's got the nerve. May have run out of talent right there, but anyway, I think this kid's going to make a great driver. He needs track time, and that's what they're doing for him.
Now, a new rule in the NASCAR Busch Series beginning this week as Mears completes his first lap, and it's 18th quickest. Good run. The drivers we call the Bushwhackers, the drivers racing Busch and Cup, must present their cars for inspection, their Busch cars for inspection, and roll them out to the line as he slithers a bit there before Winston Cup final practice, trying to negate some of the edge in setting up the Busch car that those drivers might have by running Cup practice.
Well, I think that's huge, Mike. I mean, those guys go out there on the track on Saturday morning. They know what the track's like. They go back to the Busch car. They make adjustments. They've got a huge advantage over these other guys that are just getting to run on Friday afternoon. So I think that's a great plan.
And it'll go into effect tomorrow, weather permitting. It's supposed to be a monsoon here tomorrow. Hurricane winds, heavy thunderstorms, hail, you name it. It's coming here tomorrow. The Weather Channel area, Delaware was red for tomorrow. Not green, yellow, orange, red.
If we can just get that window, though, this is a concrete racetrack and concrete dries quick.
Larry,
I have faith.
Tomorrow, they have boarded up that window for tomorrow.
Oh, ye have little
We have
faith.
no chance.
If Mike was my weatherman, I wouldn't even get out of bed. Yeah. Tune in, folks, to see what happens.
Yeah, that'll kill the ratings. They'll be able to run a speedboat race here tomorrow. But Sunday's forecast looks fine.
Sunday.
Mike Skinner, Kodak Pontiac, started 8th here for Richard Childress in 2000.
But I do love the Weather Channel. Watch it all the time, just like Larry does. But if I went by what they said every time, I'd never leave the house.
Yeah, right. Skinner's first lap, 26.
Yeah, he was 32nd quickest in practice. Don't think they'll be very happy, and he slows down on that second lap. So right now, as you say, he's 26th quickest.
And that's good news for Brett Bodine. It locks him into a top 36 spot. Let's see what kind of birthday present Dover Downs is going to give Jeremy Mayfield here. Actually, it's no longer Dover Downs. It's Dover International Speedway. The Speedway and the adjacent casino severed economic ties a little bit ago. There was a kind of a spin-off or split-off, and it's now Dover International Speedway. It's still a 1-mile concrete canyon ringing a horse track, harness track.
Tell you what, guys, Jeremy Mayfield in this 19 car at Dodge, 3rd quickest on his first lap at a 22.90. He was 5th quickest in practice, though.
Jeremy, the pole sitter here in 2000 in the fall race.
That's a big jump up for these guys.
Yes, it is.
Great effort, and it puts 3 Dodges at the top of the field.
Raw. Could be trouble brewing.
You think?
Down at the big red truck.
Talk about birthdays. Jeremy be 34-year-olds. In fact, he was 34 years old last Tuesday, so he had a birthday.
Did I tell you that Van Colley's birthday was this past Tuesday?
No.
And he was 42. A belated wish to him.
That's Darrell's business manager. Or Van Camp, as we call him.
I read all birthdays that I knew about last week, you know, when we were waiting on the rain, and the one I didn't read was his, and he was not happy about that.
I missed my brother's. It was the 28th.
Oh, when I knew when we did that we were going to be.
We'd miss a couple.
Somebody. Schrader, I mentioned him.
Yep.
Kyle Petty's birthday is coming up Monday. I'm going to say, what if I can find it? Bobby Hamilton's birthday was this week.
Who else, Matt?
Of course, we got Smokey Unick, the late Smokey Unick, he had a birthday this past month. But I'll tell you what, D, I bet you can get Van Colley a present at DWstore.com.
Shameless commerce, Dick Bergman.
Yes. I asked Jeremy Mayfield what he got for his birthday, and he went all smiles, Mike. His father had hand-built a motorcycle, custom crafted it from the ground up, even the gas tank. And that is Jeremy Mayfield's birthday present from Dad.
Larry Foyt, first lap 31st. And second lap is just a tick slower for the rookie, whose best start was last week in the Coke 600.
Here's another kid I just really wish could get a break. You know, Sammy Johns has gone over there to help these guys. Ray Abraham and his company are helping them with engines and stuff. I just really hope they get their program turned around.
That'll be good news, though, for Mike Skinner, because that will lock him into the top 36, so he will not have to use a provisional start.
Bill Elliott, who has a string of top 10 starts going here at Dover that extends back 8 races, the last 8 races in a row. He's my next page here. He'll be out in a minute. Let me forward here to Todd Bodine. Sorry, Todd. Todd started 9th here twice. Once for Raymock and once for the 66 Travis Carter. That was the fall race last year.
And I brag on you all the time about how you keep us organized and keep us straight.
I have help. I have a lot of help.
I was getting ready to go. I was going to go along with you. I thought, well, if Mike said it's so, it's so.
Yeah. Bill is up. He's ready to go.
He's in the battle.
We'll get there in a minute.
Todd,
come on, Todd, make me proud here.
His first lap, so they're going to be pretty happy with that, considering he was 34th quickest in practice. That puts Derek Cope on the bubble. We've had 36 cars to qualify. Todd slows down on his second lap, so he'll end up right now 18th quickest.
Can't wait to see who's next.
Nobody's saying anything. I'm going to wait.
It's Kenny Wallace in the Stacker 2 Dodge.
But at least you already have some of the Bill Elliott stats already there. Yes.
Yeah.
We can add, as they say.
Wallace is in the same shape as Ward Burton. Both those Bill Davis Dodges are no longer under factory support. Very surprising announcement that came this week from the folks at Dodge. Kenny's best start here was third in this race 3 years ago.
And he was struggling in practice as well, only 41st quickest.
Now, last week we saw all that fluid coming out of his car. We called it gravy because that's what it looked like. The heat exchanger inside the radiator, heat exchanger being where the oil cooler is, busted, and it was mixing water and oil together, and that's why it was such a mess on the car.
Boy, it was. That car was brown to the bone when it pulled into the garage last week. First lap 29th for Kenny Wallace, and that will put him in the top 36 just. And that's important, folks. I mean, you'd think what's the difference between 36 and 37? If you're after 36th place, you get charged with having used a provisional start, and that can hurt you a few races down the road when you need one and don't have one left. Dick Berggren.
Jeremy Mayfield, he right now is third on the charts. If that sticks, that'll be your best ever qualifying effort for this race at any rate. Seems like a good car. A good car. We'll get it out.
Yeah, we do. You know, our Dodge has been real good all through practice, and man, we just we wasn't that fast off the truck. We kept working on it, getting better and better and better, and you know, it fell right into qualifying there. And we were kind of worried because I knew the track had slowed up a little bit, but our Dodge dealer's UAW Dodge, man, just stuck right to it, and good lap.
Tough racetrack for a fella that had as hard a hit as you did last weekend. You going to be able to make the whole 400 miles?
Oh yeah, I wasn't even sore. You know, that says a lot about this race team. You know, they give me good, safe cars and do a great job in the seat department and all that stuff. And you know, Bill had a bad race the week before, and he's back running, and wasn't even sore, so I feel real confident that we can get the job done this week.
You're a tough customer. Be careful on that motorcycle, though.
Can Bill Elliott extend that string of top 10 starts that now stands at 8?
Ooh, about to pick it up on this second lap.
You know, what I really worry about for Bill is when we go to Pocono, you got to shift there. You know, you have to use that left foot, and I hope it's well by then, or at least where he can use it.
Second lap for Elliott. And the streak ends at 8. He will be 13th at best when they line up on Sunday. Dodges, though, are fastest. Newman, Wallace, and Mayfield. Dave Blaney in yet another new paint scheme for the Jasper Ford. And this is, Darrell, this is the Too Fast and Too Furious paint scheme promoting the new movie.
I think I liked last week's better.
It was mean looking.
Had that. What was on that?
Was that a panther?
That was a panther.
Allegedly a panther.
I liked that panther.
Yep.
Kind of got used to it. Not
22nd.
Not a bad run.
Nope, 22nd for Blaney.
He's double dipping this weekend.
Gonna run Teddy Marsh's car tomorrow.
Oh, hold on a minute, Mike. Hold on. I just remembered. My mother's birthday was this past May the 12th, I think it was, or 14th. Anyway, I just got a phone call from my mom.
Okay.
Said, son, you talked about everybody, but you didn't mention me.
Well, good. I'm glad we got that in.
Yeah.
Dave Blaney, 22nd.
I'm sure my sisters will be calling soon.
Ricky Rudd. By the way, The field is set in that Hermie Sadler has already withdrawn, and Derek Cope, who has been bumped into provisional land, has the least amount of owner points of the cars that are here. So Derek Cope will be headed home as the Motorcraft Ford goes out to make its run.
I don't know. He was 26th quickest in practice. You know, right now, I'd have to say a third of the way through this Winston Cup season, the Ricky Rudd, Wood Brothers situation, it just hasn't gotten there. It just, you know, they've had one top 5 finish. In fact, they did it with this car at Bristol, but just not what I think that they've been looking for. And I talked to Pat Trison this morning. I just confirmed what we pretty much knew we saw at Lowe's Motor Speedway last week. He was out of fuel, ran out of fuel, driving off into turn 3 and 4, tried to get to pit road, and it just didn't work out. Spun out there in the grass and brought out the caution. It really shuffled the field. Ricky's going to be 22nd quickest right now.
3-time pole sitter here. He will make his 50th career start at Dover on Sunday. 4 victories, 26 top 10s. An enviable record, but they're going to have to pick up if he's to add to it this weekend. .41 cars, or 40 cars have been on the clock. Ricky Craven. The Tide Pontiac rolls next.
He was 31st quickest in practice. I go back to this race about 2 years ago. Should have won this race. I mean, had a dominant race car, and there you see way out of shape off turn 2 down the backstretch, and a late race green flag pit stop pretty much killed his chances. But I will say, 2 years later when he hits pit road, that group, they get the job done for him now. In fact, that's the same group that pitted for you at Martinsville in the truck race.
And they did about 14.5 seconds, which is fast. Couldn't even drink. I couldn't even get a drink. But you know, he finished in the top 10 both races here last year, Larry. So he knows how to get around Dover.
And his last 3 starts here, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Not going to match that up. He's 19th on his first lap and slower on the second.
But I'd consider how slow they were in practice. I'd say they'll be pretty happy with that.
So Craven 19th with 3 cars to go. That will lock Kenny Wallace into the top 36. Kyle Petty, the Georgia Pacific Dodge.
And you know, Mike and Darrell, I can't help but think, watching Rusty Wallace's qualifying lap earlier where he really eased it in the corner, picked the throttle up early. I think that's one reason Kyle Petty has always ran well here. That's his style of driving. Ease in, run around the bottom, and pick the throttle up earlier.
You know, he has the last race he won, Kyle, was here in 1995.
And he beat us like a drum that day. It was big.
We had a tire issue that weekend, and we actually, it's the only time I can remember in my whole career where we had a Sunday morning practice.
And wasn't that the first concrete race? Was the reason why?
Yes, it was. And Kyle started 37th in that race, the furthest from back that anybody had started here and won.
He also, Darrell, had his last top 5 finish here, and that came in the fall race 1997.
31st quickest though on his first lap. I don't think he'll be very happy with that. As I mentioned earlier, 21st quickest in practice.
You know, Larry, when you say that, I always laugh because I said somewhere not too long ago, I said they wasn't going to be happy with that, and I saw whoever the team was, I forget. Later on, they said, man, we were thrilled with that. What are you talking about?
But I'm going to tell you what, he'll be a lot happier with that second lap. One of the few cars that we've seen that has picked up on his second lap, so he's 25th quickest now.
So Kenny Wallace, the last driver, locked in. The final spots on time between Joe Nemechek and Robbie Gordon, who've already run. Steve Park and Kenny Schrader, who are next and will be the final drivers to qualify. Here's the AOL Chevy for Steve Park.
Pretty decent in practice, 16th quickest.
I think Park will give her a pretty good go here.
He's had 2 top 10 starts here.
Car looked pretty good down in turn 1 and 2, right around the bottom. Looked like he was able to pick the throttle up early and stayed nice and straight up off the corner.
Up too hard into 3 there. Drove it in a little hard. That's where you lose time.
Pretty good right there, though, DW. Coming down, actually.
She was a little jukey off and getting into 1, but not a bad run.
10th quickest for Steve. Good qualifying run.
Might have a little more left in that bad boy. He's still after pretty hard here.
looked like he's a little bit late. Sounded like he's a little late picking the throttle up.
I think he used up all the good stuff on that first one.
Well, no matter. Top 10.
That's still a great qualifying effort.
That will equal his best here. Final car will be Kenny Schrader. BAM Racing Dodge. He has 2 third-place starts here and a win here for Rick Hendrick.
The last time he won was here.
In June of 1991, a long, long time ago.
And Schrader will be our final May birthday. He will be
48.
He will be 48 yesterday. I know that doesn't make sense, but happy birthday, Kenny.
Yep, it's been 388 races since his last win here in 1991. I know that that's not something he wants to talk about, but that's something we have to talk about. That's our job, man, you know.
He was 29th quickest in practice. He was looking pretty good through 1 and 2, but it's like the further he went, the more he lost. But this is still going to be a decent qualifying run for Kenny.
It is 29th. And that means Kenny Wallace will be the final driver to get into this field on time.
And I think the way this is going to work out, DW, I think you was a guy that always said this is the way it should be. That the fastest 43 cars start the show, and it looks like, including provisionals, that's the way it's going to be today.
Yeah, you know, we got into that provisional thing a long time ago, and I just think if you look at historically, it should be the fastest 43. That's what we came here for.
So Penske Racing owns the front row at Dover. We'll be right back. Speed Channel coverage of Bud Pole qualifying brought to you by Fram Tough Guard Oil Filters. Do you drive tough? By Stamina RX, Maximum Male Sexual Performance Enhancer, now available without a prescription. And by Parts Plus, America's family of auto parts stores and service centers.
For the 4th time this season and first here at Dover, Ryan Newman is on the pole, and what a great front row teammates.
Yes, definitely. I guess we learned something from Roger at Indy. Good run for both Rusty and I. The all-town Dodge was really fast, and we unloaded fast off the truck and just tweaked it a little bit here and there. And can't say enough about the entire team. The guys back at the shop that built the car, the engine, everything.
Ryan Newman looks for his 2nd win this season. Mike?
4 Dodges in the top 10. I'm not sure if that's the best this season, but it's got to be right up there.
But I'm going to tell you what, this qualifying Ryan Newman, I mean, the last 11 races this year, all top 10 starts, 57 starts, 11 poles.
He's definitely the Rocket Man.
You're not kidding.
Ryan the Rocket.
The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series is next right here on Speed. We'll vacate, let the professionals have the booth. And tonight, it is trackside live from Dover International Speedway.
Maybe like a rocket, like a boogie-woogie choo-choo train.
Don't use it all up. We got a long day Sunday. And we'll see you Sunday.
Tomorrow to rest.
And tomorrow on FX. Stay tuned for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.